You're not going to believe what we've got today. So get comfortable, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and let's get into it. Because the updates around New England look routine if you skim, but they're screaming about trust, health, and how this team is lining up for January. One quiet shift on offense just opened a door that nobody expected to swing wide this late. One injury timeline just changed the entire conversation about how aggressive the Patriots should be in Week 17. And one defensive return is starting to feel less like someday and more like any moment now. So Patriots Nation, let me ask you up front, do you want Vrabel to push the gas? Or do you want him to play the long game like a true playoff team? Let's start with the development that feels small until you realize what it does to the whole passing game. On December 26th, two receivers you normally plan around weren't on the practice field. Mac Hollins was absent with an abdomen issue, and Kayshon Boutte didn't participate because he's in concussion protocol. Then you see Demario Douglas on the injury report with a hamstring issue, and suddenly the wide receiver room turns into a pressure test. And Vrabel didn't dance around it. He made it clear Hollins and Boutte are out for Sunday. So take a breath and really think about the ripple effect. When you lose bodies at receiver this late in the season, it's not just about targets, it's about rhythm. It's about who you trust on third and short when the defense is mugging the A-gaps. It's about who can win a quick option route versus zone, who can sit down and avoid, who can catch in traffic and immediately get vertical to stay ahead of the sticks. This isn't fantasy football. This is timing, spacing, chemistry, and not putting your quarterback in bad spots where the pass rush can tee off. And right now, with Hollins and Boutte unavailable and Douglas dealing with a hamstring, the list of primary pass catchers who are fully healthy gets thin fast. Stephon Diggs and rookie Kyle Williams are basically your only two wide receivers you can circle without hesitation. Diggs is going to command attention no matter what. Defenses treat him like a plan, not a player. Kyle Williams has the kind of juice that can turn one clean release into chunk plays, but the name that could end up deciding how smooth this Jets game feels is Chisum 3. Yeah, that guy. The undrafted rookie that a lot of people still think is just a fun story. Except it's not just a story when your receiver depth gets punched in the mouth a few days before kickoff. And it's definitely not just a story when your head coach tells you exactly how he feels about the player. Vrabel said Chisum is always prepared, and then he went further. He said there are hard workers on this team, and you'd be hard-pressed to find players who work harder than Efton. That's coach speak for, we trust this guy to be ready if his number is called. And in a week like this, his number might not just be called, it might be the lifeline. Chisum earned this moment the hard way. In the preseason, the 5'10", 198-pound receiver caught 12 passes for 121 yards and scored 2 touchdowns. He didn't look overwhelmed. He looked like a guy who understands leverage and can play through contact. During the regular season, he's also contributed on special teams, totaling 16 kickoff returns for 383 yards across 6 games. That matters because coaches don't hand special teams reps to guys they don't trust. You protect the ball. You read lanes. You make the right decision when everything is chaotic. That's how you build credibility with the staff. And his resume is real. At Eastern Washington, Chisum was AP All-American First Team and All-Big Sky First Team, finishing with 3,852 receiving yards and 37 touchdowns. Even in high school at Monroe in Washington, he became the school's all-time leader in receptions and receiving touchdowns and helped push the program to its first ever semifinal appearance in its division. His father, Efton Chisum II, is a Marine Corps veteran, and his family has talked about raising him with discipline and strong values. That doesn't guarantee catches on Sunday, but it does show up in how a player handles pressure, how he prepares, and how he responds when the moment gets big. There's also a small detail that says a lot about how the organization views him. He recently appeared at Mass General Brigham's sports cardio clinic to represent New England and support the former Boston Police Commissioner in preparation for the Boston Marathon. That's a trust signal. Teams don't pick random guys for those moments. They pick players they believe will represent the franchise the right way. And the people who coached him are not shy about what they think he can become. His high school coach, Michael Bumpus, has said Chisum has the potential to be a long-time NFL slot because he understands coverages, knows how to move defenders off their spots, is extremely strong for his size, and has hands second to none. Now with the Patriots short on wideouts, this is the exact type of week where a next man up story becomes real football. But Patriots Nation, here's the tension, and you can feel it, right? Opportunity like this can turn into a breakout, or it can turn into a harsh lesson if the timing isn't right. Do you give Chisum early touches, quick hitters, easy completions to get him comfortable? Do you use him as motion and spacing to free up Diggs and Kyle Williams? Or do you keep the passing menu tighter and lean on the run game while you survive the receiver situation? Because one way or another, this is going to force Vrabel and the staff to show you how much they actually trust him. And while we're talking about protecting the plan, here comes the second update that screams, be smart. Last week against the Ravens, the Patriots looked like every late season team, banged up. Multiple players left early, and the injury conversation got real fast. 3 players were in concussion protocol, including running back Henderson, who has become an integral part of the Patriots' offensive success over the past month. Early in the week, he was at practice in a red non-contact jersey. That's usually the we're being cautious sign. Then Friday happened. Henderson was back at practice without the red jersey. And in the NFL, that's a loud message. It's fair to assume he'll be active for Sunday, or at least available if the Patriots deem it necessary. But here's where the chess match starts. New England has already clinched a playoff spot. So the real question isn't, can he play? The question is, should he? If the Patriots decide to keep some injured players sidelined until the postseason to avoid the risk of further injury, Henderson is a prime candidate to manage carefully. And if they do that, the run game can lean heavier on Ramondre Stevenson. Stevenson's early season was messy with fumbles, but he's settled in and become a reliable option for Drake May. It wouldn't be the worst idea in the world to make sure Henderson is fully healthy for the playoff run, lean on Stevenson for the final 2 games, and live to fight in January with the full weapon set. Now let's talk defense, because this is where the stakes get louder. Milton Williams was ruled out for Sunday's game with the Jets, but the practice window for his return off IR was open this week, and he says he's close. On Friday, Williams said, "I'm definitely close. I'm not all the way there yet, but it's getting real close." That's not a guy talking like he's weeks away. That's a guy talking like he's right there. Williams has been on IR since he suffered an ankle injury against the Jets during the Patriots' Week 13 game at Gillette Stadium. He also said there was a conversation with the coaching staff about whether he would be activated for this week's Jets game or not. They chose not to do it. Williams explained the decision came down to how things went at practice, and the plan is to try again next week and see how much it progresses. Vrabel acknowledged the holiday week made it tough to get the cleanest evaluation because of how practices were structured, but he said Williams is working hard and that it's good to see him out there with the team. And that matters. A lot. This is a star defender and a top run stopper. When you're talking playoff football, you don't just want bodies, you want impact. You want a guy that changes how physical your front feels, how sturdy you are on early downs, and how confident you are when teams try to line up and run right at you. Now stack that on top of the final update, and you start to see the logic. The sheer number of players the Patriots lost to injury in that comeback win over the Ravens pretty much guaranteed they'd be down a long list of starters for the Jets rematch. And sure enough, the team announced after Friday's practice that 6 starters will not be active for the game, most of them on offense. It also announced that Williams, even after being activated from IR this week, will not suit up Sunday. And on defense, it's not just Williams sitting out. Other key names like Harold Landry and Kearis Tonga are out too. So yes, this can absolutely make an expected win feel less automatic, especially on the road in a divisional matchup. But here's the thing, sometimes the smartest move is the least emotional one. If you're New England and you've already clinched, you have to ask what matters more. Winning Week 17 by 20, or entering January with your core players as close to 100% as possible. This is exactly the type of spot where teams get tempted to push, and then regret it when the playoffs arrive and someone is at 70% instead of 95%. And the schedule makes that temptation real. The Patriots can go into MetLife, beat the Jets, and chase a perfect 8-0 away record. Then they can come home and finish with a win over the Dolphins to push the record to 14-3. They're currently the number 2 seed, and there's even a path to number 1 if the Broncos fail to beat the Chargers in Week 18. That's why every decision this week has 2 layers, the short-term scoreboard and the long-term bracket. So let me ask you again, Patriots Nation, what's the right approach here? Do you want Vrabel to keep it aggressive and prove a point, even with injuries? Or do you want him to manage the roster like a playoff team, trust the depth, guys like Chisum, and prioritize getting to January healthy and dangerous? Drop your answer in the comments, because I already know this fan base is going to split on it. And if you're enjoying this daily Patriots coverage, hit that like button, subscribe, and join us every day, because the next update could flip this whole conversation all over again.